My stepmom burned all my college acceptance letters so her son could be the first to go to college. 20 years later, I'm his boss. Welcome, family. Please subscribe if you enjoy stories like this. Say hello in the comments and tell us your city or country. With that, let's continue our story. I found the ashes in the backyard fire pit on a Tuesday morning. March 17, 2005. The date is burned into my memory like those letters were burned into nothing. I was 17, checking the mail obsessively every day, waiting for responses from the 8 colleges I'd applied to. Full rides, most of them. My guidance counselor, Mrs. Patterson, had called me her golden student, 4.0 GPA. Debate team captain, volunteered at the community center teaching kids to read. Baby, you checked the mail yet? Daddy asked that morning, coffee in hand. Nothing came, I said, my stomach twisting into knots. But something had come. I know because when I crouched down by that fire pit, I saw fragments. Cream-colored paper with embossed seals. The corner of one letter read, "Congratulations on your acceptance too." The rest was ash. My hands shook as I sifted through the remains. My stepmother, Patricia, had been acting strange all week, jumping whenever I came near the mailbox, hovering by the front door during mail delivery times. Her son Kevin, my stepbrother, had applied to colleges too. But his grades were barely passing, his SAT scores mediocre despite the expensive tutoring Patricia insisted Daddy pay for. "What are you doing out here?" Patricia's voice sliced through the morning air. I turned, ash coating my fingers, my heart hammering. "Where are my letters?" Her face remained perfectly blank. "I don't know what you're talking about." That's when I knew. In that moment, staring at her unmoved expression, I understood that my future had been stolen from me. "You burned them." The words came out steady, but my entire body trembled. "You burned my college acceptance letters." Patricia crossed her arms, her designer watch catching the morning sun. "A gift from my father last Christmas." "That's a serious accusation, Clara. You have no proof." "This." I held up my ash-stained hands. "This is proof. I can see the letterhead right here. That could be anything." She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "And who do you think your father will believe? His wife of 5 years? Or his daughter who's been hostile toward me since day one?" The manipulation was textbook. She'd spent years painting me as the difficult stepdaughter, the girl who couldn't accept her father's happiness after Mama died. Every eye roll, every teenage attitude moment she'd cataloged and reported to Daddy with tear-filled eyes. "Why?" I whispered. "Why would you do this?" For the first time, something flickered across her face. Not guilt, triumph. "Kevin is going to be the first in this family to attend college. That's important to me. I'm going to college too. Multiple colleges accepted me. No one accepted you, Clara. You don't have any letters to prove otherwise." She smiled, and it was the cruelest thing I'd ever seen. "Maybe you weren't good enough. Maybe you should consider community college. Or trade school." The gaslighting was immediate and brutal. But I knew the truth. Mrs. Patterson had called me 2 weeks ago, congratulating me on my early acceptance to Howard University with a full scholarship. She'd said the official letter would arrive within days. "I'm telling Daddy." Patricia's smile widened. "Tell him. Let's see who he believes." Daddy sat at the kitchen table, his reading glasses perched on his nose, going through bills. He'd aged since Mama passed, more gray in his beard, deeper lines around his eyes. He worked double shifts at the plant to afford Patricia's lifestyle and Kevin's tutoring. "Daddy, I need to talk to you." My voice cracked. "What's wrong, Jazzy?" He looked up, concerned. Patricia appeared in the doorway, her timing perfect as always. "Robert, I'm worried about Clara. She's been acting paranoid lately." "I'm not paranoid." I slammed my hand on the table. "She burned my college acceptance letters. I found them in the fire pit." "Oh, honey." Patricia's voice dripped with false sympathy. "You've been so stressed about college. But sweetheart, you can't blame me because you haven't received any acceptance letters yet." "I did receive them. Mrs. Patterson called about Howard." "Mrs. Patterson called?" Daddy's expression shifted. "When?" 2 weeks ago. She said the official letter was coming." Patricia interrupted smoothly. "Robert, I think Claire might be having some kind of breakdown. The pressure of senior year, losing her mother. Don't you dare bring Mama into this." Tears streamed down my face. "You're lying. You've been stealing the mail. Clara, that's enough. Daddy's voice boomed. I won't have you disrespecting Patricia in this house. She's done nothing but try to make a home for us. The betrayal hit like a physical blow. My own father choosing her over me. Believing her lies over my truth. Daddy, please. Go to your room. We'll discuss this when you've calmed down. I looked at Patricia. She stood behind Daddy, her hand on his shoulder, her face the picture of concerned stepmother. But her eyes were cold and victorious. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I sat at Mama's old desk, the one thing Patricia hadn't thrown out during her redecorating, and made a plan. If I couldn't prove what Patricia had done, I'd have to rebuild everything from scratch. The next morning, I called Mrs. Patterson from the school office. They're gone. All my acceptance letters. There was a long pause. Clara, are you saying someone destroyed them? Stepmother. But I can't prove it and my dad doesn't believe me. Mrs. Patterson's sigh carried years of experience with family drama. Hey, here's what we do. I'll contact the colleges directly, explain the situation. They keep copies of everything. We'll request duplicates sent to the school instead of your home address. Hope sparked in my chest. Really? You can do that? I can try. But Claire, it might take weeks. Some schools might have already given your spot to someone else. Please try. I worked so hard. My voice broke. I know you did, baby. I know. That afternoon, Kevin cornered me by my locker. Mom told me what you accused her of. I slammed my locker shut. She's not your mom, Kevin. She's your mother. And she destroyed my future so you could have yours. He had the decency to look uncomfortable. That's not. Mom wouldn't do that. Your mother has been sabotaging me since she married my father. Wake up. You're just jealous because I got into state. You got into state because your test scores were bought and paid for. The words exploded out. My father works overtime to pay for your tutoring while I studied alone every night. And I still earned better grades. Kevin's face flushed. You think you're so much better than me. No, Kevin. I just wanted the same chance. 3 weeks later, Mrs. Patterson called me into her office. Her expression was grave. Sit down, Clara. My heart sank. They gave my spots away, didn't they? Not all of them. She handed me a manila envelope. Howard sent a duplicate acceptance letter to the school. Full scholarship, Clara. For years, everything covered. I couldn't breathe. The letter trembled in my hands, official seal intact, my name printed in bold letters. I got in. I actually got in. You got into 6 of the 8 schools you applied to. Mrs. Patterson's eyes were wet. Full rides to 3 of them. This one came to the school, but the others. She shook her head. I'm so sorry. By the time I contacted them, they'd reassigned the scholarships. But Howard is enough. Howard is everything. I clutched the letter to my chest. There's something else. Mrs. Patterson's voice hardened. I did some digging. Your stepmother called this office 4 weeks ago, claiming to be you. She said you were withdrawing all your college applications due to a family emergency. The room tilted. What? My assistant took the call. She didn't realize it wasn't you until I started investigating. Claire, your stepmother didn't just burn letters. She actively tried to sabotage your entire college admission process. Rage, white-hot and consuming, flooded through me. She tried to steal my future. Yes. And I'm documenting everything. If you want to take this to your father. He won't believe me. He never believes me. The truth tasted bitter. But I have this. I held up the Howard letter. I have proof now. What are you going to do? I'm going to college. And I'm going to make her regret every single thing she did to me. I waited until dinner. Patricia had made Kevin's favorite, fried chicken and mac and cheese, celebrating his acceptance to state. The irony wasn't lost on me. Daddy, I got into Howard University. I placed the letter next to his plate. The table went silent. Patricia's fork clattered against her plate. Daddy picked up the letter, reading carefully. Jazzy, this is wonderful. Full scholarship. His face lit up. Baby, I'm so proud. It came to the school, I interrupted, because someone called my guidance counselor's office 4 weeks ago, pretending to be me, withdrawing all my college applications. Patricia's face drained of color. The school secretary documented the call. Mrs. Patterson has a recording. I looked directly at my stepmother. Want to explain that, Patricia? This is ridiculous, she started. The call came from our home phone. They have the number logged. Daddy's expression changed, confusion shifting to understanding, then to horror. Patricia. It's not what she's making it sound like. Did you call her school? His voice dropped dangerously low. Did you pretend to be my daughter? I was trying to help. Claire's been so stressed, and I thought if we simplified her options. You tried to destroy her future. I stood up, my hands shaking. You burned my acceptance letters. You sabotaged my applications. You tried to make sure Kevin would be the only one going to college because you couldn't stand that your son isn't as smart as me. Kevin flinched. That's not true. Patricia's mask finally cracked. You don't understand the pressure. Kevin needed this. Kevin is going to state. He got what he needed. But that wasn't enough for you, was it? You had to make sure I had nothing. Daddy stood slowly. Get out. Patricia blinked. What? Pack a bag. You and Kevin. Get out of my house. Patricia didn't leave that night. She cried, she pleaded, she promised it would never happen again. Daddy slept on the couch, his face carved from stone. I heard her begging through the walls, heard the desperation in her voice. By morning, Daddy's resolve had weakened. I saw it in his eyes at breakfast. The guilt, the responsibility he felt toward Kevin, the loneliness that had driven him to Patricia in the first place. Jazzy, we need to talk. He sat across from me, looking older than his 45 years. You're letting her stay. I didn't phrase it as a question. Kevin is just a kid. He didn't do anything wrong. But she did, Daddy. She committed fraud. She destroyed federal mail. She tried to ruin my life. I know. His voice cracked. And I'm going to make sure nothing like this ever happens again. Fizzy. I can't just throw them out. Kevin is about to graduate too. Where would they go? The unfairness of it burned in my throat. So I just have to live with the person who tried to destroy my future? Just until graduation. Then you'll be at Howard starting fresh. And she faces no consequences? She just gets away with it. Daddy reached for my hand. I pulled away. I'm handling it. Patricia and we're going to have serious conversations. She knows what she did was unforgivable. Does she? I stood up. Because from where I'm sitting, she's learned that she can do whatever she wants and you'll forgive her. Just like you always do. That's not fair. None of this is fair, Daddy. But I'm done expecting you to protect me. I grabbed my backpack. I'm going to school. I'll be home late. I have debate practice. I didn't have debate practice. But I couldn't stay in that house, couldn't look at Patricia's face knowing she'd won again. 3 months later, I walked across that graduation stage as valedictorian. My speech focused on perseverance, on rising above obstacles, on the importance of integrity. I didn't look at Patricia in the audience. I looked at Mrs. Patterson, who'd fought for me. At my debate coach, who'd written recommendation letters. At my Aunt Sharon, Mama's sister, who'd driven 6 hours to watch me graduate. Some people will try to dim your light, I said into the microphone, my voice steady. They'll do it because your shine reminds them of their own darkness. But you don't owe anyone your dimness. You don't owe anyone your failure. You owe yourself the chance to become everything you're meant to be. The applause was thunderous. In the crowd, I saw Daddy crying, pride and regret warring on his face. Patricia sat beside him, her expression unreadable. After the ceremony, Aunt Sharon pulled me into a fierce hug. Your mama would be so proud. I wish she was here. She's baby. She is. Aunt Sharon pulled back, her hands on my shoulders. Listen, I need to tell you something. About your college fund. My stomach dropped. What about it? Your mama and I set up an account when you were born. $20,000, meant for your education. Aunt Sharon's jaw tightened. 3 months ago your father withdrew half of it. Said it was for Kevin's tutoring. The betrayal was a physical pain. Daddy took my money. For Kevin. Patricia convinced him it was only fair since they were a blended family now. Aunt Sharon's eyes blazed. I tried to stop it, but your name wasn't on the account yet. You had to be 18. I was 18 now. As of last week. How much is left? 10,000. Here's now. I transferred it into an account with just your name. $10,000. Half of what Mama had saved for me, stolen to benefit Patricia's son. I'm never forgiving him for this, I whispered. I don't blame you. Howard University became my sanctuary. I threw myself into my studies with a fierce determination fueled by rage and grief. Business administration with a minor in computer science. I worked 2 part-time jobs, saved every penny, and swore I'd never depend on anyone again. Daddy called every week. I answered maybe once a month. Our conversations were stilted, surface level. He'd married Patricia officially. I hadn't attended the wedding. Kevin had flunked out of state after 2 years. Patricia blamed the professors, the system, everything except her son's lack of work ethic. He's having a hard time finding his path, Daddy said during one call my junior year. Maybe he should try actually working for something, I replied coldly. Jazzy, that's not fair. Don't call me that anymore. That's what Mama called me. You don't get to use her name for me. The silence stretched between us, filled with everything unsaid. By my senior year, I'd secured an internship at a major tech firm. By graduation, they'd offered me a full-time position. By 25, I was a team leader. By 30, a director. By 35, I was running the entire regional division. I climbed that ladder with systematic precision. Every promotion was proof that Patricia hadn't broken me. Every success was a middle finger to the woman who'd tried to steal my future. I didn't go home for holidays. I built a life thousands of miles away, surrounded by chosen family, friends who became sisters, mentors who became mother figures, a world where my past couldn't touch me. Until the day I received an email that changed everything. The subject line read, "Application for senior position Kevin Williams." My stepbrother had applied to work at my company. In my division. Under my supervision. Fate apparently had a sense of humor. I sat in my office, Kevin's resume spread across my mahogany desk. 20 years since graduation, and his employment history was a patchwork of short-term positions and unexplained gaps. No degree, just some college listed under education. Ms. Williams. My assistant Keisha knocked softly. Your 2 o'clock interview is here. Send him in. I watched Kevin walk through the door. He'd gained weight, lost hair, and the cocky confidence from high school had been replaced by something desperate. His suit was off the rack and slightly too big. He didn't recognize me at first. I'd changed my last name back to Mama's maiden name, Johnson, the day I turned 21. Mr. Williams, please have a seat. I gestured to the chair across from my desk. Thank you for seeing me, Ms. Johnson. I really appreciate the opportunity. He stopped mid-sentence, his face going pale. Clara. It's Ms. Johnson in this office. I leaned back in my chair. So, Kevin, tell me why you think you're qualified for a senior position at this company. He stammered. I didn't know you worked here. I don't work here. I run the entire Eastern Regional Division. This is my department. I tapped his resume. You have 15 years of work experience with 7 different employers. Want to explain the pattern? I've been looking for the right fit. You've been fired from 4 positions and left 3 others before termination was official. I'd done my research. Made some calls. Poor performance, attitude problems, and at one job, accusations of taking credit for a colleague's work. Kevin's face flushed. That's not. Those situations were complicated. I'm sure they were. I stood up, walking to my window overlooking the city. Here's what's not complicated. I worked my ass off to get where I am. Every degree, every certification, every promotion, I earned it. No shortcuts. No one paving the way for me. Certainly no one destroying the competition to make my path easier. Silence. You remember what your mother did to me? I turned to face Kevin. Or did she convince you that was justified too? Clara, Ms. Johnson, I was a kid. I didn't know what Mom was doing until it was done. But you benefited from it. My voice was steel. You got the tutoring paid for with my college fund money. You got your mother's undivided attention and support. You got to be the first to go to college, even though you failed out after 2 years. Kevin flinched. You're right. I don't deserve this job. I don't deserve anything from you. No, you don't. I sat back down. But let me tell you what you do deserve. You deserve to know the truth about your mother. I opened my desk drawer and pulled out a folder, thick with documents I'd collected over the years. Bank statements showing the withdrawn college funds. Copies of the documentation from Mrs. Patterson about the fraudulent phone call. Private investigator reports from when I'd hired someone 5 years ago to dig into Patricia's past. Did you know your mother did this before? To her sister. I slid a document across the desk. Your aunt applied to medical school in 1985. Got accepted. Then mysteriously, her application was withdrawn and her acceptance letter never arrived. Kevin stared at the paper, his hands shaking. Your mother has a pattern, Kevin. She sabotages successful women in her family because she can't stand to see other people excel when she never did. Hi, Aunt Sarah? Kevin whispered. Mom always said she gave up on medical school because she wasn't cut out for it. Your Aunt Sarah is working as a pharmaceutical sales rep because she never got the chance to become a doctor. Because your mother was jealous. I leaned forward. Your mother is a liar and a manipulator. And I suspect deep down you already knew that. Tears ran down Kevin's face. What do you want me to say? I want you to say you're sorry. I want you to acknowledge what was done to me. Kevin couldn't look at me. I'm sorry. God, Claire, I'm so sorry. I was 17 and stupid and I didn't question anything because I was so relieved someone believed I could go to college. His voice broke. But you were right. I wasn't cut out for it. I failed because I'd never actually earned anything in my life. Mom did my homework, paid people to tutor me, made excuses for every failure. And when I got to college with no one to prop me up anymore, I fell apart. The confession hung in the air between us. I've been failing ever since, Kevin continued. Every job, every opportunity, I'm waiting for someone to figure out I'm a fraud. Because I am. I'm exactly what Mom made me. Someone who thinks success should be handed to him. I felt something unexpected. Pity. Not forgiveness but pity. Your mother destroyed both of us, Kevin. She destroyed my chance at an easier path and she destroyed your chance at becoming someone with actual character. I know. He wiped his eyes. I'm not asking for the job. I know I'm not qualified. I wanted you to know that I see it now. What she did. What she is. I cut contact with her 3 years ago, when she tried to convince my wife that she should quit her job to support me better. My wife is a nurse practitioner. She makes twice what I do. And Mom couldn't stand it. That tracked. Patricia never changed. Dad still talks to her? I asked, surprising myself. They divorced 5 years ago. Did he not tell you? My heart stuttered. I haven't spoken to Daddy in 3 years. Kevin looked stricken. Claire, he's sick. Stage 3 colon cancer. He's been trying to reach you. The floor dropped out from under me. No, he can't be. He's at Mercy Hospital. Room 412. He asks about you every day. My father was dying and I hadn't known. Hadn't answered his calls. Had let my anger build a wall so high I'd missed everything. I drove through the night, Kevin's words echoing in my head. Mercy Hospital was 6 hours from my city, back in the town I'd sworn never to return to. I walked through those sterile hallways at dawn, my heart hammering. Daddy looked so small in that hospital bed. At 65 he seemed ancient. When he saw me, his eyes filled with tears. Fezzy. My baby girl. I collapsed into the chair beside him, taking his hand. Daddy, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I should have called more. Should have tried harder. His voice was weak. I was so ashamed, baby. Ashamed I chose her over you. Ashamed I let her steal from you. Ashamed I was too weak to protect you like your mama would have wanted. Daddy, please. Let me say this while I can. He squeezed my hand. You were right about Patricia. About everything. I was lonely after your mama died and Patricia made me feel needed. But she was poison. And by the time I saw it, I'd already lost you. You didn't lose me. I'm here now. I'm proud of you, Jazzy. So damn proud. You became everything your mama knew you would be. You did it without me, without anyone. You proved that nothing, not Patricia, not me, not any of it, could stop you from becoming extraordinary. We talked for hours. About Mama, about my success, about his regrets. He told me about divorcing Patricia, about the years he'd spent in therapy trying to understand how he'd failed me so badly. I left everything to you, he whispered as the sun set. The house, my pension, everything. It's not enough. It'll never be enough. But it's yours. Daddy, you're going to be fine. But we both knew that was a lie. He passed 3 days later, holding my hand, whispering apologies with his last breaths. I buried him next to Mama, and for the first time in 20 years, I felt the full weight of my grief. For him, for her, for the girl I'd been before Patricia burned my future. But I also felt something else. Freedom. Patricia had tried to destroy me, and instead she'd forged me into someone unstoppable. Someone who'd learned that the only person you can truly depend on is yourself. I didn't hire Kevin. But I did help him find a position at another company, one where he could start fresh and build real skills. He's still in therapy, still working on becoming the person his mother never let him be. As for me, I'm now the youngest CEO in my company's history. I mentor young women of color, helping them navigate systems designed to break them. I established a scholarship fund in Mama's name for students whose families have sabotaged their education. Patricia tried to burn my future to ashes. Instead, she taught me that phoenixes are born from fire. And I've been rising ever since. If this story resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share your own experiences in the comments. Have you ever overcome family betrayal? How did you rebuild? Let's talk about it. And remember, your light doesn't diminish because someone tried to blow it out. Keep shining.